Thanks, Jack. It's always important to take the mute off the mic.
If you didn't, is the sound good? Can y'all let me know if the sound is good? No?
Yeah, they can hear you.
Good? Okay. If you didn't hear what I was just rambling about, I was saying thank you for joining us today and taking your time out of your Friday to join us. And if you got a chance to listen to our last 2 episodes, I know we had some really good questions, but we couldn't fit them all into the episode. So we want to answer some of your questions directly. Sit down and talk about them.
Yeah. I'm excited for this. I mean, I think going forward, the format of the podcast is really good, but maybe depending on how successful this is, we would add additionally once a week. After we do a good podcast, to follow it up 2 days later with a live episode, and answering questions and stuff, and get some engagement. And I think that'd be great. It'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it would be a lot of fun.
Yeah,
I love doing lives.
Yeah. How many have you done?
Not too many, but well, none.
I love doing them. This is my first one.
Not for the podcast, but I've done lives before. Right. I just like to talk. I basically just like to talk.
Yeah, you do. I can attest to that.
I like to talk. So.
Okay, so why don't we go through, and we already have a lot of questions here.
Sure.
We got 42 viewers live, so
hey,
that's
y'all.
Pretty good. We just started off. Thank you guys for joining us. So let's go through. I have my computer in front of me, so I'm going to be looking down a lot.
Yeah, if you see us looking down, it's because we have the computer to answer questions.
But anyways, so okay, let's go for our first question. Is from Tom Childress, Doug's friend, Massachusetts.
Oh, hey, Tom.
So he says, Kayle, could you give an overview of Bunker Trap? I've heard about it, but never seen it.
Overview of Bunker Trap? You mean exactly like what it is? So basically, I don't know if you're familiar with American Trap, but American Trap has one machine in it that just has a isolating carousel in it. So Bunker Trap is, I think it's about 100-foot long underground bunker that hosts 15 machines, and it has 5 stations on it. And each station you have 3 machines that are designated to that station. And from that, you can have a target that will come out anywhere from 45 degrees left to 45 degrees right and up to 3 meters high. And in bunker, they're thrown to a distance. So all the speeds are going to vary a little bit on each station. I don't know if that helps clarify or not.
I think so.
But yeah, a full round is of 25 targets. And what else is cool about bunker? Oh, and they're all random. So you're going to get 2 lefts, 2 rights, and 1 straightaway, but you don't know the order of what it's going to come out. It's all random. The computer mixes it up, and it's all voice activated as well.
Yeah. Also, the difference. I was reading comments, but did you talk about the difference in the actual targets?
Yeah, the targets are a little bit denser, but they're thinner. They're like more condensed to be able to be thrown at that higher velocity.
Yeah, so basically I'm watching here, and we have some people listening, I guess watching from over in Europe, so they don't really get the difference in that. But if you're an American shooter over here, and your basis of understanding is like sporting clays or ATA or an SSA skeet, we use 108 millimeter target. So it's a little bit smaller and it's a little bit taller, and it's just meant to, it doesn't throw as hard. So the international target, which is what the rest of the world uses and what Kayle uses in her game, is 110 millimeters wide. It's a couple millimeters thinner profile, and so it's denser, harder. Mm-hmm. It can be thrown harder.
Yeah.
And they actually have, it's kind of interesting, when we go over to Europe and shoot those targets in sporting and FETASC, they fly different.
Yeah, some of them do.
Yeah. Like if you're using that target in a sporting application where you're throwing them with a lot of curl and transition, they carry lines longer, and it's and slow down slower. So it's cool just to know that, just a random fact. Let's see. What do we got next? So Jack from New York is saying, question from me. Do you think Aloha Brain or Focus Factor or any of those type of supplements work? Oh, I'm going to guess that was a typo and you meant Alpha Brain.
Aloha Brain.
Yeah.
Go to Hawaii.
I haven't heard of Aloha Brain.
I was like,
But yeah, so that's called I think it's called Nugenics or new.
The nun stuff? Is that what they're talking about?
No, Alpha Brain.
Oh, the stuff.
Nootropics. That's
Yeah.
what it is. Nootropics.
Gotcha.
So yes, it does work. In varying degrees, I would say if you're going to use something like that, experiment with it first before you try it out on a course or in a match.
Yeah, don't just try it on, unless you don't care how you perform. I mean,
Yeah.
But don't just go to a competition and try it for the first time. Try it in practice.
Yeah.
At least a month before.
Yeah. I use Alpha Brain when I shoot. It's made by a company called Onnit, but like I said, you got to be careful. I've accidentally taken one too many before, and you get a little sick. So it's all up to the person. If you're really sensitive to caffeine and stuff, maybe just be a little cautious about that.
Yeah, I personally don't take any of that. I take like electrolytes. I'll put that in my water, but that's about the extent of what I do.
Yeah, you got to be careful in.
Because we get randomly drug tested too. I don't know what's all in that.
Nootropics are legal. You would pass.
Yeah.
But
well, I mean, we
safe
can't
than
even
sorry.
take Tylenol PM.
Yeah,
so,
no,
yeah.
So. Let's see, we got another question. Okay, is there one color lens that could be considered good in most light backgrounds? You want to take that?
Most light backgrounds. Well, I don't know what kind of glasses you're using. I use Pila's, and also what's gonna look good to me isn't gonna look good to David because he claims he's colorblind. But for me personally, anything that has like a red tint to it, like different shades of red, I can pretty much use anywhere. Like there's one, I don't exactly remember the number of it, but it's like the watermelon shade. You know what I'm talking about? Mm-hmm. It's like a watermelon shade that I really like for like when it's kind of cloudy. And then there's a darker version of that I really like when it's really bright outside. I'll have to get the numbers. I don't know exactly the numbers.
For me, I mean, we can announce this now. We're gonna have. There's two guys that I know that are both, I'm not going to bring their names up yet, that are both really good in sports vision. And we're going to have eventually both of them on the podcast to talk about that kind of stuff. So I would say, if you guys want to go and listen in depth, I know that our definition of in depth seems to be a little long recently, but if you want to listen to a guy that really knows what they're talking about in terms of sports vision, we'll have some. I've already been in contact with both of them, and they're up for doing it. But Tom asking that question, I will send you an email about the guy to contact about that to help you out, because it's really dependent on your eyes. It's dependent on the background.
How sensitive your eyes are to light. Like my eyes aren't very sensitive to light, so I can get away with lighter lenses. So it just depends. You kind of have to play around with it. But for me personally, I would, if you were just asking me, I would start out in the red tones. I like the reds.
I like the reds too.
Yeah.
I used it. My favorite lens ever is the RHC18. It stands for red high contrast. It's a Pila lens. That's what I use all the time.
Yeah.
Let's see. These guys already know who I'm talking about for the doctor. Let's see.
Hey, Greg. What's up?
So Greg's saying that you guys can't take nootropics.
Yeah, I don't think we can.
Really?
It's super sensitive to the stuff that we get tested over. I mean, it will take, like, anything. We have to go on an app, like, even just to take regular, like, ibuprofen or Tylenol or something, like, we have to go on an app and, like, say that we've, like, declared that we've even taken that. So, I mean, it's super sensitive to the stuff we can and can't take.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got another. Here's a good question. It says, David, you talk about draw length, but how does that translate between sporting and FITASC? How good of an explanation do you want on that one? Let me know and I'll answer that. Because
give him just like an idea. If he wants more detail, he can say more detail.
So long story short, in sporting, I relate my draw length to the vertical change of the bird. So if you flatten everything down two-dimensionally, the amount that the bird is moving vertically up from my hold point to the highest point in the line that I'm with the bird, that equals my draw length in my shoulder. So that way I can mount my gun and not have the plane of my gun change. When you bring that into FETASC and you have a restriction on your draw length, which is 25 centimeters from the top of your shoulder down, it obviously changes that. So what ends up having to happen, that's a hard thing to say, Clay. What ends up having to happen is that you are forced to have at the highest point 25 centimeters here, and it disassociates the plane of the gun in the move, which causes a varying change of point of impact out at the line of the bird. So long story short, you need to proprioceptively connect the point of impact to the bird and make that like the if you could imagine the gun and the extension of the point of impact of the gun as one plane rotating, you need to make the pivot point out at the line of the bird. Very complicated in FETASC, but that's what makes that game harder. But there's other ways. That could be a whole podcast in itself to explain how that works. Let's see. So what are our views for high ribs for trap and sporting?
Well, it's more common, I think, in trap to see a high rib than sporting, would you say?
In American trap?
Yeah.
Or are you referencing your game?
No, in American trap.
Yeah.
I know you have your obvious reasons why a high rib is good, but like for simple terms, a high rib, basically, if your gun is, if you mount like this, then you have to raise your eyes up to look. So essentially, without the science behind it, what a high rib is supposed to do is when you mount, your eye is at an even plane. You know what I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking
Okay.
about. What?
Yeah. Well, I'm just making sure we're on the same page. And
please tell me, what is a high rib gun?
You don't see too many of them in my sport. You saw more of them in doubles trap and American trap.
There were a lot in doubles.
Yeah, and it's because it's a lot easier, I think, to spot shoot the bird because you kind of know where the first one's going, and with American trap, you can kind of predict where it's going as well. But for a quick moving gun, I'm personally not a huge fan of the high rib. I just think the more rib you see, I think the more it takes away from your vision, honestly. I'm just not a big fan of the high rib personally, but you see them from time to time.
Yeah.
In my game.
Yeah.
I don't ever really see too many in sporting, but.
As a coach, I'm going to answer this question, not as a sponsored shooter. So, a high rib gun, I cannot think of I can't think of a way movement-wise why it's good. And at the end of the day, that's the most important thing. Now, if you're a pre-mounted shooter, I think it's totally fine. If you're a low gun shooter or a FETASC shooter or international skeet shooter or something, I can't think of a reason why adding weight, influencing the weight distribution of the gun, influencing the balance of the gun is a net benefit over the visibility of the shot. Yeah. Because the purpose of a high rib gun is to separate the eyes from the barrel so you have more visibility around the gun. But when you're shooting a game or you're shooting a mechanical technique that allows you to start or makes you start low gun, it's not an issue visually anyway. Having the gun down here doesn't influence my eyes. And most low gun shooting is pulling the trigger close to the moment of mounting the gun. So again, you don't have the visibility issue that a high rib gun would take care of. So I see a high rib gun as not a bad thing at all in games where you start pre-mounted. So like ATA trap, American skeet, I guess could be good.
American skeet?
I mean, you can, but I wouldn't.
Yeah.
But I could definitely see it in like ATA trap. Doubles trap was huge because the first shot is just pull bang. It's a spot shot timing thing. But it hurts
very,
movement.
Very little movement for a double shot or double shot. You just had bang bang.
Yeah.
Pretty much was your movement. It's hard to get that much weight in my game moving, and then it's hard to control too, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you're shooting a game where you got a lot of movement, I would go with a gun that you can balance weight out better. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, we got another one. Oh gosh. These questions are unfair, guys.
What are they? I can't read
He's
it.
saying Perazzi or Beretta.
Well,
I shoot for Perazzi.
I
She
shoot
shoots
for
Krieghoff.
Krieghoff. But I will say Berettas make a bad hunting gun. That's what I hunt with a lot of times.
Yeah, I use my
The
A400
A400.
Extreme.
And if you've seen any of my trick shooting videos, I use the A400 as well.
So the this one says, with respect to the topic of a good fitting stock, can you give your opinion on length of pull and what is a proper length for your shooting style? I mean, in terms of, you want to answer first or me?
No, you.
Okay.
That's a hard question.
Well, I don't think there is a proper length of pull.
Yeah.
Obviously, you got to get the gun to fit you. Length for your shooting style. I mean, here's what you want. If you're fitting a gun and you're shooting pre-mounted, I again see less of a reason why fit is that important in terms of length of pull. Length of pull in a gun where you're shooting low gun, this is my criteria for a successful gun fit in terms of that. When you mount the gun mechanically perfect, are you compensating for the movement or compensating your movement or your mount for something wrong with the gun or not? So, for example, if I mount my gun extremely comfortably, do I have to bring the gun in? Do I have to push it out? And I want to be able to do it intuitively, quickly, and smoothly, and that's about all I care about. I'm not a huge proponent of gun fit down to the millimeter. I mean,
I think it's more essential in my game for that.
Yeah.
Because they start pre-mounted.
What else you got for that?
I mean, I would agree if you're talking in terms of sporting. My game, I think you should get one that is custom fit to you for sure, because everyone's different. There's no right or proper length for it. It's just whatever fits you.
Yeah.
But in my game, you don't shoot low mount. Obviously, you shoot pre-mounted. So the length of pull needs to be a lot more accurate than where you have room to maneuver, like you do.
What is the distance in bunker from the shooter to the bunker? Brian wants to know.
From the bunker to where we stand?
Yeah.
26 feet, I believe.
From that to the edge of the bunker?
I don't know. That's a good question. Let me Google it.
You're cheating.
Go to another one.
She's Googling
I'll
it.
Google it.
Here we have an Olympic trap shooter, and you have to Google how far away you are?
It's been a while since I've ever even looked at that.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Greg, it's okay.
Greg would know. What is it, Greg?
No, he just says I meant to put Krieghoff but had a brain fart.
Oh.
Instead of Beretta. So, this is a good question by Duke Durham. He says, speaking in terms of feed task, how do you change a pre-shot routine due to time limits? I get warnings all the time.
17 meters.
17 meters.
Is how far we stand from the bunker.
Cool. Okay. So, but anyways, going back to the pre-shot routine question, that's a good question. The best thing to do is understand and analyze. So, if you have a pre-shot routine, you need to understand what it is. And I really think if you have one, you should have it written down. So, if you have it written down and you have the steps and everything, to use for it. Then you need to be able to understand the different components and how valuable each of those components are. So understand you, evaluate you, say, okay, when I'm shooting feed task, what are the biggest things that are negatively influencing my score? If it's something like nerves or tension, then I would say an important thing in your pre-shot routine would be something like physically calming down, relaxing, and something like that. If a biggest problem that you have in feed task is something like not being able to have a good plan, or forgetting what the birds are, or forgetting what your plans are, then you need to implement more visualization into your pre-shot routine. If you have a problem of whatever it is, figure out what the problem is, relate it back to what you're doing in your pre-shot routine, and put an emphasis on that. You can take some other things out. So for me, in my pre-shot routine for feed task, I'm doing two things. I just physically relax and visualize the line of the bird. Other than that, I'm good, and I can get that done in about 12 and a half seconds.
If you shot bunker, you would just be totally screwed.
Well, that timing is from when you pull the trigger to when you unload. So like you go bang, bang, timing starts. So you unload the gun, reload the gun, go through everything, get ready, call pull. 12 and a half seconds.
We have 12 seconds from the time the person pulls their trigger in front of us. Yeah.
But you also have the whole time after you shoot to get ready.
Yeah. Well, you have time in between in between stations. And while your squad's shooting.
In feed task?
Yeah.
No.
Parkours, whatever they're called.
You need to know the names.
Listen, I shot the world championship, okay?
Half of it.
Why don't you tell our viewers what happened there? On your sponsored parkour. Do y'all want to know what happened? Okay. Quick side story.
I'm going to go back to muting the mic real quick.
Quick side story here. I decided to, last July, shoot with David in the World Feed Task. Is that what it was? Yes. World Feed Task shoot.
World Championship.
At
E.J. Churchill.
Yeah, at E.J. Churchill in London. And first of all, my gun got detained for 3 days. So every day I had a different gun I was shooting. I borrowed guns from Krieghoff there. Thank you, Krieghoff. And missed my whole first day of shooting because I didn't have a gun. So the second day, my very first parkour, my very first time ever shooting feed task, I missed the first bird out and then ran it. I shot a 24 on the parkour at the World Championships.
On the game board parkour.
On the game board parkour, which is his sponsor. So the next day, David comes to shoot it. And
no, it was the last day.
The last day, David comes to shoot it. And what did you shoot?
Well, I shot a 21.
And if he would have had my score on game board, he would have won. So.
This is so unfair. Literally, if I had my girlfriend's score on the parkour of the company that I have a contract with at the World Championship, I would have won the World Championship. Gosh.
I mean, I can't help you there. I tried. I shot it before you, but can't fix it.
Not fair. What else have we got? Let's see. Can you discuss the best way to practice when shooting with friends? I really want to advance in this game, and why does shooting international skeet bring me out of a slump? From Mark Patrick from New York.
What do you shoot competitively? Are you shooting?
He's a
international skeet for
used
fun?
Used to be an international skeet shooter, and now shoots sporting a lot.
Okay, so I would say probably international skeet brings you out of that because you're not putting pressure or standard on yourself. You're just going out there to have fun, It's like your relaxation, probably, I guess. Would you say that?
Yeah, I would also say, without being able to see you shoot, I would venture to guess that if you shoot international skeet, obviously international skeet is a very quick game mechanically, and so the move is pull, bang. There's almost zero time for your vision to go from the bird back into the gun. So you end up having a really good visual and physical connection with the bird. When you bring that into sporting plays and all of a sudden the shots don't have to be taken that fast, you can go pull, mount, hold it, have your eyes come back to the gun and pull the trigger, and then you've lost that proprioceptive or visual connection to the shot. And if shooting skeet brings you out of a slump, I would bet you what's happening is that your shooting skeet is recalibrating your eyes to
Yeah,
look
I
at the
was gonna say
bird.
that.
That's exactly what
And
you're
then
going to say.
and then when you go into sporting, you may start off good, and then it's easy to get back into that habit.
Super easy,
of
yeah.
checking your lead or where your gun's at or something like that. So maybe pay attention to that next time you go out,
Yeah.
and see if that helps.
The way to fix that in sporting, slower hands. Just have slower hands. Relate your hand speed to the target speed and draw the length of the mount out from the starting point to the break point. If you can do that, think of what's happening when you're shooting skeet, international skeet. You call pull, and the amount of time that you're unmounted from the time that the target comes out until the time that you pull the trigger is probably somewhere about 95% of the shot. When you shoot sporting clays, I would venture to guess that you keep that same timing of your skeet mount in sporting clays, and you make that 5% of mounted time in the shot, and you change it to 75%. So now you're unmounted 25%, mounted 75%, something like that. If you can take that skeet move and stretch it out so it's still only 5% in sporting that you're mounted during the shot, then it'll get rid of the slump. I would almost guarantee that.
And if that doesn't work, just relax and have fun.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, here's interesting. Garrett says, Garrett, is your last name pronounced Fuchs? Let me know in the comments. So he says, let's talk nutrition. What are you guys eating and drinking before and throughout the day to stay hydrated and keep your sugar levels up and not spike?
That's a really good question. So when I was in high school, I was part of this study that related back to, I tested my blood sugar twice a day. I would test it like when I wasn't shooting and then when I was shooting.
Yeah.
Or if I worked out that day, or like I tested it like when I was doing different activities, and related that back into my nutrition. And what I have found for my personal body is if I eat like little stuff throughout the day, that really helps me. And I try to stay away. I know they say like, stay away from carbs, but for me, I turn carbs just straight into sugar, and then I feel like sluggish and you have a sugar crash. And so if you eat a lot, like little stuff throughout the day, like honestly like 6 or 7 times a day, it'll kind of keep you at a level that's more consistent, rather than like eating breakfast and then waiting a couple hours for lunch where you kind of slump back down, and then you get your energy again, and then you kind of hit that 3 o'clock time to where you're slumping back down. So try eating something throughout the day. And if you want a really, really good smoothie recipe, I have one. Is it not good?
It's pretty good.
It's really good. It's going to sound gross, but it's really good. So you take just like a handful of ice and a handful of spinach and 1 banana, and then you can put like protein powder if you want protein powder in it, like if you just got done working out or something. Or it's a really good actually smoothie before you go shoot, because it's not too filling, but it kind of keeps your energy up. And then you just pour some orange juice in there to blend it all up and make a smoothie, and you're welcome, because it's really good.
The Quickening says, I love sausage rolls. Will I ever win World Sporting?
I don't know.
Just don't eat the sausages in France.
I'm from the South, and I love fried food and syrup on my potatoes, so I feel you.
Yeah. Yeah, for me, it's the same thing. So with nutrition, I mean, during a match, it goes into like, we kind of got into a little bit in our podcast previously when we talked about preparation. How prepared are you? The biggest excuse that I get from people on, well, how can you eat healthy? Because the only thing they have at the clubs are like fried food and stuff. Mm-hmm. It's like, okay, well, when we go...
your lunch.
Yeah, when we go to a match, I mean, Kayle can attest to this. It's a little bit different in sporting than it is in... I mean, well, actually, no. I mean, you guys have food there.
We have food there,
yeah.
And I mean, for y'all, you might shoot 1 course a day, or you might shoot 3 different events a day, but, you can kind of somewhat, like, go and come as you want. We're pretty much stuck at the range all day long. Like, there's not enough time in between when we shoot to go. So bring your lunch, bring snacks, pack your own lunch. because they're not having anything healthy at the range is not an excuse.
Yeah. I mean, literally, when I go to a match, say my shooting starts on Thursday, I get there Tuesday night. Wednesday, I go to the grocery store. I go to Walmart. I get everything that I need for the rest of the week, so that, number one, if I need to, I generally try to rent like an Airbnb or something, so I have a kitchen. And if I don't have healthy restaurants in the area, or if there's not going to be good food at the club, I mean, I'm prepared. I have stuff that I bring from the grocery store in a cooler. We'll cook healthy dinners. And I'm telling you, I'm here. I mean, it makes a huge difference.
Yeah, and another thing you have to remember too is only eating healthy during a match or during a competition is not going to have that much benefit on you. It kind of has to evolve into a lifestyle and be something that your body is used to doing. And I mean, just like anything else, your body has to be used to it. So just because you drink more water or just because you're eating healthy for a week straight doesn't mean that's going to help your performance. It needs to turn into a lifestyle.
Yeah.
So because we eat pretty healthy throughout the week, so when we go to a shoot, it's not out of the normal to eat healthy things or bring healthy stuff with us. I mean, of course, we don't, like, if we want a cheeseburger, we have a cheeseburger, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's more of a lifestyle than just, okay, I have a competition coming up on Thursday. Tuesday, I'm going to start drinking water. Okay, it goes beyond that, you know?
Yeah, 100%. The other thing to ask yourself is, when you go to a match, are you there to hang out with your friends, go out to dinner with them, celebrate that, you know, take the time off work? If that's the case, I mean, don't worry about, you know, cooking at your place and eating alone. You know, do what you're there for. Align your expectations for your performance and what you're doing. But if you're there for the same reason that we're there, you got to take that extra step.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, I just had a good question in the thing. Okay. This is from Rice. Do either of you have any experience training with a brain training expert? If so, what have you learned, like Henry Hopkins? So, I mean, you can start, or you want me to start? It doesn't matter.
I personally don't have any experience.
Yeah.
Like brain mapping, brain waves, stuff like that. I've never done that.
Yeah, I've never done it either.
I know research on it, but I can't attest to it for myself. I don't.
Yeah, I've spent a lot of time researching it myself over the last 10 years. I mean, literally, I find that stuff fascinating. But I've never worked with anybody. I've never worked with a sports psychologist or someone like a neurologist or anything like that, like Henry. But we can talk about this for sure. Henry is going to be on the podcast. Henry Hopkins, for those of you who don't know who he is, before I tell everybody his website, let me just make sure. Actually, I'm not going to say it. I'll put a website link up later.
He's going to be, if you have questions regarding that stuff, send us an email or something, because we're going to be interviewing him next week. So if it doesn't, it won't be released next week, so we'll have time to answer your questions and get to him and stuff. So send us your questions if you have them for him, and we'll try to ask him some of those questions.
Yeah, Henry is an amazing guy. I've always been friends with him, and I've sent a lot of my students to him, but I've never gone to him myself. I've just had enough conversation with him to know that he knows what he's talking about. I just don't have the time. So in talking with him to prepare for the podcast that we're going to do and have him on to kind of wrap up our mental game series, I think that I'm going to subject myself to going through his program, and so we'll see how that goes. It'd be really interesting for me to do that. But I've never done it before, but I definitely think it's awesome.
Yeah.
Let's see. So, let's see.
There is a company, I just learned about it, called Versus, VERSUS, that's into the brain mapping stuff. I just found out about them like last night, so I don't know too much about them, but you might Google them and see what they're about.
Okay, here's another one from Garrett. It says, I have a pre-shot routine in place, but when shooting 5-scan, I feel rushed by the squad. Is that normal, or do you just go at your own pace?
Go at your own pace. Don't don't let the squad determine how you're going to shoot, and don't let the squad determine your pace, because if you heard in, was it the last episode, David's pre-shot routine used to be 36 seconds or something.
Yeah.
36 seconds, y'all, his pre-shot routine. So trust me, you're not going to go any slower than that. Take your time and do what you need to do, because eventually you're going to get better at that, and you're going to get faster at that, and then it's going to be easier to deal with those things like feeling rushed or whatever the situation may be. So take your time.
Yeah.
Unless there's a time limit, but then take all that time.
If there's a sport that doesn't have a time limit, then you're not rushed.
Seriously, yeah, take your time. And you'll also find, I see this a lot with ATA shooters. You know, when I work with an ATA shooter personally, I can get them to slow down and get them to go through their routine. But whenever they step up on the line with their squad, their answer is, I always feel so rushed because my squad shoots so fast and I can't even get my gun loaded by the time it's already my time to shoot. So my answer to that is take your time, and more than likely your squad will follow that if you shoot with them, you know, periodically. Your squad's going to follow you versus the other way around. So take your time.
The other thing just psychologically to pay attention to is if you feel rushed, understand what's happening consciously. So you're being distracted consciously by the fact that you feel like you're taking too much time, and analyze what is a better net benefit. Is it better for me to take longer and go and finish my program, or is it better for me to adjust it for this game so I don't feel that way? Because if you feel like when you're going through your normal program that you start being a little bit more, you have a lack of presence, and you start thinking about everybody else and holding everybody back, even if you go through the rest of your program, you're not doing it with 100% mental focus. So it's not going to be as valuable to you as if you were doing it with 100% mental focus. So that's only a question that you can answer. So analyze that, think about it, and experiment with it.
Yeah.
Doug Harradine from New York wants to know when our new place is going to open up.
Ooh, well, it was set to open this fall. However, Corona showed up. And we've kind of been, nobody's really working down here. It's in Arkansas, if y'all don't know. And so we're hoping to get that started in the next month again. I mean, we have the plans and the land's ready and everything's ready to go. It's just Corona put a halt on everything. So we're still going to try to push for the fall, if not the late winter. That's our goal right now, and that might change. Might be sooner, but we're going to try to get started on it within the next month as things start opening back up.
That's the plan. Mark Patrick says, yes, I like to shoot fast. So there we go on that one. Let's see what else we got. Wow, we have a lot of... it's hard to keep up with this, guys. This is good. Keep them coming.
Tess said, what kind of protein powder do you use? I use Bomar Nutrition, and I have tried just about every protein powder you can... No, I have tried almost every protein powder you can try, and theirs is the only one that, for one, tastes good, which is plain water, and if you're kind of a health nut, you know how hard that is to find. 2, you can bake with it, and 3, the nutrition in it is far beyond anything else you're going to find at like a GNC or something like that. So if you are interested in that, you can go on their website, just bomarnutrition.com. They have greens and collagen that I drink every day. I put it in that smoothie I was talking about earlier, and it's honestly like I have more energy, my skin is better, my nails are better, my hair is better, for those
that's why I use
that
it.
Care about that stuff. But it also benefits your joints and promotes healthy muscles and stuff like that. So Bomar Nutrition. And if you do decide to get something, you can use my name at checkout.
What, just type in Kayle?
Yep.
Yeah,
There's no discount for it, but it just lets them know that
they'll charge you extra.
It just lets them know that I sent you, basically.
I really like that stuff. I love the greens, and the BCAAs that they have are really good. They have good but I drink one of those every day. And when I go shooting, talking about nutrition and hydration, when I have one of those shakes, we put BCAAs, collagen, greens, and some protein.
Yeah. We do we'll alternate like the protein. Sometimes we put it in there, like if it's like before a round maybe, and we haven't ate something, it's their protein is also meant to be a meal replacement.
Yeah.
So it's 22 grams of protein in like one scoop.
Yeah.
So it's a lot. So we alternate with the protein or not. But like the drink you're talking about,
Yeah.
I drink probably 2 of those a day,
Yeah.
like in competition. For sure.
Honestly, I can feel the difference in my eyes when I drink, especially with the greens. And if you put that in with some really high pH water, it's good.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, let's see. Rob Moore says, would you ever use a laser training system like a dry fire simulator? I don't know. Never tried one.
I've never tried one.
I don't know what that is.
Oh, are you talking about the game that throws the target and you have the gun and it's just like the simulation?
Oh, that thing we did in Vegas?
Is it a simulation that you're talking about, like the game simulation? I don't know about laser, but...
Yeah, let us
I guess
know.
yeah.
If it's... What is that thing called?
I don't remember what it's called. But it's like a simulator.
Yeah.
Where you can shoot targets and stuff. If that's what you're talking about, no, I don't think it would be too much of a...
Well, it's just expensive. It's $20,000.
Yeah, it is expensive. But for me, my sport is so fast, I don't think the simulator would do much good for me. It might help my flinch. Sometimes I have a bad flinch, but...
All right, Tom Childress. If you can see the trap, is it okay to watch the bird come off the trap but have gun at the hold point? 100% yes.
Any edge you can have, for sure.
Yeah, if the bird doesn't beat your eyes. So take it this way. Look back as far as you possibly can without your eyes being beat. So if it's a specific target, an angle, and a bunch of different variables, if you can put your eyes on the trap and call pull and watch the bird come off and not get beat, do it. If you're getting beat, move out a little bit further until you can catch the bird with your eyes. But that's my general rule of thumb.
I agree.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How come you agree with me all the time on camera, but as soon as we shut this off,
well,
never?
You only say smart things on camera. In everyday life, y'all, he ain't this smart.
Let's see. What else we got? How do I figure out if my problems are mental or mechanical? How should I work on them both? Call me Jack. Okay. So the best way, the best way I would go to our send us an email and send us a video of you shooting.
Yeah, because I mean we can't. It's hard to say without watching you shoot if you're doing something mechanically wrong. So yeah, like send us an email with a video, and we'll analyze it for you.
Yeah. Let's see what else we got. Rick Gregory wants to know how much practice do each of you put in weekly?
Well, right now, pretty much nothing because Corona. I mean, all of our World Cups are canceled, all of our training camps are canceled. But on a normal basis, I would say I train probably 5 days a week, I would say. And it's very easy for me to go through 4 cases a day. I mean,
wow.
if I'm training. I don't do that every day all year long, but when I'm picking back up training, yeah, I'll easily go through 4.
If you had to say on a yearly basis how many shells you shot in practice, what would you say?
I don't even know where to guess. I mean, if I would say on average, counting the weeks that I shoot high volume like that, I'd probably go through probably 6 or 7 cases a week on average.
Just every week?
Yeah, because sometimes I'm shooting 6 or like I said, like I can shoot 5 cases a day. Sometimes I might only shoot 1 case a day or half a case a day. So I would say like overall on average, it's probably a pretty good guess.
For me, within the past 5 years, I'd say I practice about 2,000 to 3,000 targets a year.
What?
Yeah.
That's it?
Yeah.
No wonder I shot better than you in Gambor.
Yeah, I would say about 2. I think 3,000 is pushing it.
But you have so many more competitions to go to than I do.
Not really.
Yeah.
I shoot,
you can go to a sporting clay shoot every weekend if you want.
but I don't.
You go a lot.
I shoot about 4,000 to 6,000 registered targets a year, split up between about 7 tournaments.
Yeah.
So, but what that's not accounting for is how many targets I see while I'm teaching, which is honestly the point that I'm at in my shooting career. Teaching is just as good a practice for me as shooting the gun. If not better, because it really puts me in the right mindset to be able to think about mechanics, think about reading the bird, thinking about applying mechanics and technique to certain birds,
So you're
thinking
in
about
training,
strategy.
you're just
Yeah,
not
my
in the gun.
mind. It'd be like if you visualized every day,
Yeah.
all day.
Well, I coach a lot
Yeah.
all week long too. So.
Yeah. So, and
I think it's different for everybody. It depends where you're at in your training, and it depends what game you're shooting to, because like in my sport, reaction time, you have to keep that up to par. I mean, that has to be quick, and if you lose any of that, you're at a disadvantage. So for me, like in bunker, although I trained less than I ever have this past year and did pretty good. So I think it kind of fluctuates, honestly.
yeah, it's different.
Yeah.
But now equate that to when I first started and was learning the game. I was shooting 1,000 to 2,000 rounds a day, a week, consistently throughout the whole year in practice. So
yeah, it's easy to do that. I think, when you're starting.
When you're starting. Another guy Painter wants to know, are we going to have a bunker at our place? He wants to try.
We already have a bunker at our place. I have a bunker about 30 steps out the door this way. We actually already have bunker, we have American Trap, and we have 5 stand for sporting, and we're in the process of doing the feed task right now. And then
I got some awesome targets.
Yeah, he does. He has an upside down target. Like he came sprinting back to the house the other day, and he was like, "Oh, look at this target! It's an upside down target." And I was like, "An upside down target?" It's pretty cool though. So we're in the process of setting up feed task. But yes, the bunker's here, ATA's here, 5 stands already here. We have stadium lights here, so you can shoot at night. So if you've seen some of my trick shot videos, I do a lot of them at night because I think it looks cool. And basically the only thing we're missing is the actual lodge to have people to come and stay at. We have a cabin right now that you can stay at, but it only holds, I guess you could, comfortably, it only holds about 4 people, but you could fit 6 in there.
Yeah.
But,
And the other thing, I mean, I have a lot of Permatic traps up at home, but I have, with the coronavirus lockdown, I mean, I can't really get them. So we need some traps, and then when the lodge gets built, we'll be good to go. And it's going to be good.
Yeah.
Garrett Fuchs says, "Are you Elf syrup on potatoes? You remember the movie Elf?"
Yes, that's me. You take fried potatoes, and once you fry them, okay, you got to get a good fry on them. You know, like what I'm talking about, like
good fry,
like the crispy potato. You know,
what
I'm talking about. It's got to have
like a good
potatoes? Golden crisp on them.
The potatoes we had last Sunday.
Fried potatoes.
Yeah, but there was something different.
It's the
really
good crisp, the good
golden
golden crisp. You can't make them like Mimi makes them, like my grandma makes them. Okay, and then once you get your good fried potatoes, okay, take some syrup, pour it over the top.
Do you put syrup on spaghetti like Elf?
No.
But
I do put ranch on spaghetti.
I was just about to say
I
that.
eat ranch
puts
on
ranch
everything.
on spaghetti.
Literally. What is something I don't put ranch on? I mean, I literally put ranch on
She even put
everything.
ranch in her tea.
No, I didn't. I'm not that extreme.
Okay.
I have some weird eating habits, like weird food combinations. Like another one is I put Coke in my chili, like Coca-Cola in my chili. Do I not? It's good.
Oh, that is good. Yeah.
It's really good. But when
Mark Patrick wants to know cane syrup or maple.
Maple. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, maple.
Like
homemade
homemade
like Miss Butterworth, you know.
You don't get the homemade stuff?
I mean, you can, but I want that like sugary processed store-bought all over it. That's what I want.
Oh.
That's my cheat day meal.
Oh, gosh.
So anyway, back to the chili. I put Coca-Cola in my chili, and it's really good. Y'all should try that too next time you have chili.
Tom Tilder says, on a Shondell, I was taught to cut the top of the ice cream cone, but find Ben Huswaite's method of attacking it at a 45-degree angle works better for me. Your thoughts? I don't like cutting off the angle of a bird. Or what he's talking about, if you guys don't understand, like if the Shondell is like this, here's the arc here, making a move where you just cut straight across it. I really dislike that. I know that's a commonly taught practice, but it just forces the move to be all timing based, zero connection based. I don't know Ben's 45-degree angle method. I don't know what that is. But I would say that the way that I shoot a Shondell is holistically depends on where I'm shooting it. Am I shooting it on the way up, shooting it after the apex, at the apex, or on the way down? How I shoot a bird always is going to be as closely related to the mimicking the line of the shot as possible. So if I'm going to infer from this that 45-degree angle means as it's coming up, take it at a 45, like simplify the line of it, I would say that's better than cutting it off. I would still be on the line if I was shooting it up. If I'm shooting it at or after the apex, I'm going to be slightly under through the apex, but then get back in line again. So that's much easier to show in person or in a video of shooting. I can do that later, but to explain is a little harder. How do you shoot Shondells in bunker?
Same way. Same way I shoot those driven birds.
This guy says 36 seconds. Sorry, but I'd have to set you on fire.
Yeah. Try following him when he did that.
Okay, so Greg Leday says, speaking of pace and squad, when you have a guy in your squad with a 36.2, I didn't read that all the way before I started reading this. When you have a guy on your squad with a 36.2 second pre-shot routine that is throwing you way off your game, how do you get that out of your head?
Greg, you can run your own pre-shot routine 4 times while he does his one. Like, that's insane.
Honestly, the best way to do that is understand if something's bothering you, you're consciously focusing on it. So decide what you're going to consciously focus on and focus on something else.
For me, in those situations, like when I realize I'm kind of fixated on something that's bothering me, or if I'm like really aware of something that's going on that's not benefiting me, I am not one. I don't have the personality type to just let something go, like just to relax and do that. I have to have a job, okay? I'm like here for a purpose, okay? So when I go to shoot and my pre-shot routine is like I'm really struggling, not letting outside factors play into how I'm thinking. For me, I literally have to go over my pre-shot routine and be just repetitive with it. Like I have to just say, okay, step 1 is this, step 2 is this, step 3 is this. And if I feel that thought coming in, I just start completely over because I'm like a task person. I have to have a job, so it's hard for me to, in those situations, just sit there and try to relax. So depending on what personality type you have, either method might work for you, but for me personally, I would suggest if you can't just be like, okay, I can't let that go, just try to focus back on your pre-shot routine and just go over every step and just be repetitive with it.
Yeah. I like it. Okay, Mark wants to know, he says, please have Kayle finish up on her story of the night before qualifying for our national team. That had to be the most pressure ever. How did she conquer that? So walk us through your mindset.
For the national team?
Olympic team.
Oh.
The night before.
Sunday. Okay, the night before.
Did it end on a Sunday?
So, I think so.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming you're referring to the story I told when I had the 9-second barrels and all of that. So the night before the last day, honestly, I tried to keep it as normal as possible. I did not have a freak out until the round, the very last round, until right before the very last round. And we were in the camper, and I literally just was like, I don't know how to pull the trigger. I don't know how to shoot the gun. And he was like, you've shot at least 11 rounds already. Like, this is the last day into the match. What are you doing? And I mean, we ended up, I didn't realize that he was doing that at the time, but he came up with this really stupid game. And it was...
A lot of stupid games.
Yeah, a lot of stupid games. And we were in the camper, and we had a solo cup on each end of the camper, and a tennis ball, and we would just see how many times we could roll the ball into the cup. And at first, I was just really, like, anxious about everything. Like, I was like, this is a stupid game. But then it got kind of competitive, and it took my mind off what was going on. And so I tried to do things like that throughout the whole match, so I didn't freak out and I didn't let my mind sit there and think about what was actually going on. But the very last round in the trials was probably the most nerve-wracking round I've ever had. I'm not kidding. 9 second barrels. Just right from the get-go, I had 9 second barrels in a row. It was so nerve-wracking, but every time I second barreled one, I honestly had to just remind myself, okay, that counts as a hit. Don't focus that you just second barreled at it. That counts as a hit. And I would just move to the next station and try to calm down and try to do my pre-shot routine again. And I just kept going until I got myself out of it, because that could have easily been a 14, and then I could have been behind going into the finals. But thankfully that...
Walk me through, or well, real quick, I got a cool... 2 questions. So, Rice wants to know if you're going to return to sporting clays eventually and conquer that. Let me just say that so this past summer, Kayle came. Where were you? Were in Italy when I went to England, and then you flew to England. Mm-hmm. So she was in Italy for a World Cup, or was it the World Championship? The World Championship in Lonato. And my world championship was like the week afterwards at EJ Churchill outside of London. So she flew to London from
Italy.
Yeah. What town?
In Italy?
Yeah.
Well, Lonato is where we...
But what airport?
Lonato
Airport.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. That's not that interesting. Anyways, so she flew to London, and we were there a little bit earlier before the World Championship, and we went around and shot some practice, and and I brought some of my students with me. So, like, it was kind of fun because I had Kayle and I had some of my students, and we would just travel around to different clubs and practice and shoot some tournaments. We shot at Don Brunt's club at PODIUM. That was really fun. And then we went to Sporting Targets in London and shot the High Tower Challenge.
That was so fun.
Yeah, which is it's my favorite tournament every year. I mean, so like when we have to go to England, I obviously enjoy it because it's the World Championship. But I look forward to shooting that High Tower Challenge more than the World Championship. For those of you guys that don't know, it's just literally a 50 target tournament. It's a pool shoot. They run it for a month straight. You can enter it as many times as you want, and they're just all off towers.
They're insane.
Insane targets.
Like, the closest target you're going to get is, 50 yards?
Off the tower, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the closest one you're going to get. And it's probably going away. So
So to give you an example, when we went to go shoot it, over a month-long tournament, and you can enter it as many times as you want, and a 50-bird shoot. I mean, everybody would shoot. I mean, all the big-name guys. I think at the time the high score was a 39 or 40.
I thought it was 38. 38 or 39. Somewhere between 38 and 40.
Yeah, out of 50. High score. And that could have been, I think the high score might have been, I don't know. Anyways, some other world champion. But, so we went and shot it. I shot a 38. So I know I shot 38, so that wasn't the high score because I wasn't leading.
Maybe it was 39.
I think it was 39 or 40. But anyway, so I shot a 38. Kayle, what did you shoot?
I shot a 32.
Yeah, 32 on target she'd never seen with a gun she picked up out of the demo rack.
The gift shop, yeah.
And wearing my vest. So
and Ray-Bans.
Yeah, and Ray-Bans. And we have some video of it. It's really cool to watch. But Kaylee's a really good sporting and FITAS shooter, so it would be fun for us to both cross compete. Me shoot bunker.
The original plan was to go to the Olympics in July of this year, and then take 2 years off from bunker and spend some more time in sporting. But now it's the Olympics are postponed to 2021, so I don't know how that's going to affect everything because I kind of lost a year there to be able to take off. So I don't know, maybe
do both every once in a while.
We'll see. I don't know.
Do one for fun and one for real.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we'll see where it goes. But if back to the Olympic story, if y'all want to hear that whole story and my whole journey from like the time of the first trials and like preparing for that, it's a really cool story because I was the most relaxed I've ever been going into the first half of the trials. Like I could have cared less if I won or if I got last. Don't ask me why. I don't know why. And then I became the most obsessed and nervous that I've ever been and stressed out for a competition as well. So it's a really cool story.
We were actually talking about that this morning or yesterday night. We're gonna do a whole podcast. I'm basically just gonna sit down and interview Kayle.
I guess I guess y'all will hear the whole story.
Yeah, we are going to. We're gonna sit down. I'm gonna interview her about the whole thing. I was there for it, so I can ask some cool questions about it and kind of direct it in a good way. So, because that's a good learning experience. And
yeah, I learned a lot about myself during that time because when you train your whole life for something and then it's right there at your fingertips, you have emotions and nerves that you've never felt before because it's impossible to train that situation. So it's a cool story.
Yeah, it is. Mark's going to sleep. Good night, Mark. What else have we got? Jack wants to know why do the coffee mugs look so much like white gold shells? Did Game Boy make them? I didn't even think about that.
Do they?
Yeah, they kind of do.
I don't know. Here they are, though. Might be coming to you soon.
Yeah, maybe available as merch on the website. We should have... Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Well, I guess that's good for you because you shoot Game Boy. I shoot Federal, so...
Yeah.
Not good for me.
Greg says he was laughing while streaming finals in Kerrville about you. With you, your dad, and me standing behind me. I wasn't about to say anything about you, lest I end up like one of those targets. What else do we got?
Don't let your chair hit this.
No?
Yeah.
Okay. This William Stone says, David, when we worked in Florida, you indicated you have an at-home feed task mounting routine. What is it? P.S. Dying for another lesson. Okay, so it's really cool actually, and you can do this. It's really hard for me to explain in words. I can maybe put a video up. But if you have a laser pointer that will fit in your gun, and if you don't have one of the specific ones that they make for guns, you can literally take a used shell and a normal laser pointer from Office Depot and just hot glue gun it in the shell, and it'll work perfectly fine. But basically what you do is you work on being able to mount the gun, doing everything, rotating and bringing the gun up, while keeping that laser on a specific line, but moving it as you're mounting. So not keeping it in one point, but keeping it moving as you go. So there's a lot of science behind that in terms of like triangulating the point of impact and keeping the planes, the fulcrum point of the plane in a specific spot as it's moving. But I'm just going to make a video of that later, I think, and put that up because it's pretty cool. And you can do it in the corners of your walls in your house. There's a bunch of things you can do. But it would be interesting if bunker was what it would change to low gun.
That would be interesting.
It would be fun. JB Wheel says, on a side note regarding addressing specific targets, what is your strategy and mechanics for the hold point and movement for a straight teal shot versus one at an angle? What is your strategy and mechanics for the hold point? Okay, so a straight teal shot and one at an angle, I mean, you can... While I look for another question, because you can kind of relate a teal shot to a shot in bunker. So
Can you?
talk about the mechanics of your body, how that's moving, for a little bit.
In sporting?
No, in your game.
For teal?
For a bird going away.
Oh, well, this is different because for me, if I'm going to shoot a target going away, I'm going to shoot it like I shoot my trap targets, which is all lower body movement. I only use my legs in it. But David will say your body position should be more of like a bend. Is that correct to it? Rather, I don't know, we set up differently for him.
Yeah,
like
talk
if
about
I
your game.
see, yeah, if I see a straightaway target, I'm going to set up with my feet pretty much shoulder width apart. I'm probably not going to low mount it because I know that that's a target I shoot almost every day, so I'm just going to pre-mount. And where I set my hold point is, since I'm used to the target coming from above or under my feet, I'm going to set above it and let it pass my barrel, and then I'm just going to have one short move right to the bottom of it because my gun's set up 50-50, so I just touch the bottom of the target for me to break the target. Personally, minimizing the move as much as you can, I think is more of a benefit than having a real big drastic move. So set up somewhere where it's going to allow you to see the target and have a minimal move to it. That's how I would shoot it.
Talk a little bit about the importance of your control of what's happening, like visually and emotionally, so that your start time is good.
In bunker?
Yeah.
Say that again.
Talk a little bit about like the importance of having good control emotionally and visually so that your start time is good.
Yeah, so my sport is all based off of a reaction. Like, you're always going to get beat by the target. So when the target comes out, you want to try to find a sweet spot. You want to try to find a sweet spot of moving your eyes as quick as you can to the target, but you don't want to be surprised by the target to where you have a quick reaction to it. So a lot of factors come into play here. From an emotional standpoint, I kind of relate that back to your pre-shot routine. You need to be going over your pre-shot routine before you call pull so that you're fully prepared mechanically. And I mean, that's a hard question to answer because everybody shoots it a little bit differently, but basically you want to try to find a sweet spot to where when you call pull, let's say you're getting a right-hand target. When you call pull, the target is in the bottom half of your vision, which is the reaction part of your vision. You don't want to be surprised by it, but you want to get your eyes to it and let that target go out long enough that you can recognize the line of the target before you start your move. So that would be the controlled part of the move. If that makes sense. I don't really know if that was your answer or not.
When we can both answer this question, this is Brian Liebel from Pennsylvania. When you were younger and learning to shoot, how did you tune out all the people that would try and help you but unknowingly would give you information contrary to what your coach would?
Yeah, so everybody has an opinion on how you should shoot. And I think you learn that pretty quickly whenever you first start shooting. Honestly, whenever I first started shooting, I was the only one that shot a Krieghoff in my sport. And when I say started shooting, I mean international trap. When I started shooting international trap, I was the only one that shot a Krieghoff. And I had somebody come up to me and tell me that I would never make a team unless I switched to a Perazzi. Because that was the big time gun in international trap at the time. And I basically just told him, that's the gun I'm going to shoot, so I don't guess I'll ever make a team. And you kind of have to be confident enough in your coach or your instructor that you believe what they're telling you and what they're telling you is working for you to be able to block out the other stuff. If you're confident what your coach is saying, don't listen to what some random guy on your squad is saying. It would be my advice to it. Just say thank you and let it go in one ear and out the other.
The best advice I have for my students on that is the way that I teach or the stuff that I teach is relayed in a way that a lot of times sounds very different from what you'll hear from the average guy that learns from reading the magazine. Because what I teach isn't what they talk about in the magazine. And so if you try to relay what I'm teaching you or working with you on in a lesson to your friends that you shoot with, they're going to say, oh, no, try it this way. It's better. Okay. And I get that all the time from my students. It's like, well, I'm going to shoot and this, he's trying to change what I'm doing because he says that, it's
this
too
way
hard.
is life changing,
Yeah.
and it made it so much easier for him. And
Yeah. And so the best advice that I can give for them is, number one, make a note of what these people are telling you. And if, like with my students, I have like scheduled calls. So on a weekly basis, they'll call me and we'll go over some things. And what I encourage them to do is, if they are competing a lot or practicing a lot and they're getting that kind of feedback from people, I want them to tell me because of two things. Number one, if they tell me what it is, what they're getting advice on, and what the person is telling them is wrong, it's good for them to hear reconfirming information and say, no, that guy was wrong. Keep doing what you're doing it right. Or number two, the opposite of that, they could have very easily interpreted what I said wrong, and my method of communication wasn't effective enough, and so they might be doing the wrong thing, and the guy that's giving them advice might be giving them good advice. And so when they tell me this, I'm doing this, and this guy told me I needed to be doing that, and they talk to me about it, say, okay, well, actually, you misinterpreted what I said, or I didn't communicate it to you good enough. You really should be doing that. So my advice would be, if you have a coach that you work with and you're getting people to tell you things that you think don't align with what you've been taught, ask your coach about it. Don't ever make real-time changes to your mechanics. Whatever you're working on from the last lesson, stick with that. Don't make your own decisions. Stick with that until you consult with your coach again and you make changes together. And that's the best way to go forward in your progress.
Yeah, don't ever, if you're in the process of learning, don't ever take some outsider's advice and apply it to your competition that you're at that day.
Yeah. Let's see. Your dad and one of my friends, Ronnie, just realized that they know each other, and they.
Oh, cool.
We have videos of us shooting, and I have a huge.
What's the question?
Do you have videos of you shooting?
Oh, well, I can't see on you guys.
So I have a whole setup for this live stream going on right now. It's not just we have cameras, lights, 4 different screens. And I'm eventually going to get to the point where we can bring up videos in the live streams and use them as demonstration and be able to annotate on them. But for our first live stream, we wanted to take it a little bit slow. And so this is all we got for right now. But later on, we're going to have some really cool stuff. Let's see. Okay, so Sergio wants to know if we have post-shot routines and what are the benefits of them.
I 100% do. And for me in my game, a post-shot routine is pretty simple. It's basically for me just to go over... Let me give you 2 scenarios here. A post-shot routine for me is to analyze how well I went through my pre-shot routine and then how well I executed my pre-shot routine. If I missed a target and it was out of my control, like weather, for instance, or wind or something like that, then there's nothing I can do about that. My post-shot routine, if I missed a target and I can go back through that during my post-shot routine, I say, okay, did I have the right hold point? Were my eyes in the right spot? Did I move them when I wanted to move them? Did I actually lock onto the target good? And if I set myself up to do all that, did I actually execute doing all that? Did I do exactly what I wanted to do? And I kind of take the time in between while everybody else is shooting to quickly analyze what I did or what I didn't do, or if it was in my control or if it was out of my control. And if I pick up on something that I missed and it caused me to miss a target, I try to implement that on the next station. I also do that even if I hit a target. I'll say, okay, did I do X, Y, Z, and did I hit the target? Or did I hit the target, and kind of got lucky on one and skipped something? And then I try to prevent a miss as well. So for me, a post-shot routine is pretty vital.
Yeah. I mean, I have a very similar answer. Post-shot routine for me is, I mean, it's very quickly after every pair in a round of sporting, but that's really just more like a self-analysis of if it went well or not, um, and just to kind of reevaluate or reposition what my next plan would be if what I didn't work. Figure out, is it something that I did wrong or is it something out of my control, and then assess the situation from there. But other than that, it's exactly the same thing as what Kayle just said.
Yeah, don't be afraid to, don't only run a post-shot routine when you miss, okay? Kind of do it when you hit them too, because there might be something little you're leaving out or that you're doing that you can catch before it causes a miss.
Yeah. Okay, so I think this is a really good question from Chris Thompson. He says, hi guys, only having one trap at home, what's the best approach to practice and training for sporting? Cheers. You want to answer it or me?
Well, I mean, I don't shoot sporting much, but my first thought on that is that you can set up pretty much any target you want with one trap.
Yeah. Here's what I have to say. I think that's almost perfect. If you only have one trap, that means that you're going to it almost forces you to work on repetition and drilling out mechanics, because you can't get distracted by a variety of targets. So one trap at a time. If you've ever taken a lesson from me, there's a lot of my students on here now. I mean, they can all attest. We shoot a lot of singles. Because that's where you're going to be very conscious of your mechanics, very conscious of everything else that's happening. And it's not about always working on the bird, it's about working on the move. So if you got one trap, that's great and good for you for making that investment. But I would say the best way to go about it is set a target that you can work on a specific move and just drill it out. Shoot 25, 50 shots, then go change the bird and do the same thing. I mean, that's how I practice.
Yeah, a lot of people think that you have to have a lot of rounds under you in practice in order to get better. But honestly, for me, what I've found that is more of a benefit is to sit there and do drills on one specific target.
Yeah.
The bunker has 15 machines in it, and on a weekly basis, I might use one of those machines. I will put it on a straightaway on station 1, and I will shoot that straightaway all week long. And then the next day or the next week, I move to maybe the left or maybe the right, and then I move to station 2. So with one machine, you can get some valuable training in with just one machine, because I honestly, I rarely ever shoot rounds anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I don't think I ever shoot rounds for practice.
Yeah, I do if I'm trying to train, like, more mental stuff. But as far as like mechanics and repetition and stuff, I rarely ever shoot a round. I'll just pound out. That's how I can go through 6 cases a day.
Yeah. One machine is great.
Yeah.
2 machines is ideal, but not needed. Anything other than that is just a bonus. So. Yeah. The Quickening says, I have no traps, but my wife is a discus thrower and I have a big garden.
Heck yeah.
I can throw a clay target pretty far.
Props to your wife.
Have you ever seen me throw one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen you throw a bat too.
Yeah.
Or who's your friend that can just
the Pragmatic Techs, Nick Sage, oh my gosh.
Holy crap, they are better than, if you had them both if you had them 2 in a bush versus a Promatic machine, it would be hard to tell the difference. They can chunk them.
Unbelievable. Doug Kirkendall's watching. What's up, Doug?
Hey, Doug.
Thanks for watching.
Apparently our cups look like your ammo.
Yeah, apparently our cups look like Game Boy ammo. White gold. So, Greg, I was using normal, just plain OBS for the software. But I wanted to do some other stuff too and incorporate some other layers. So I'm using Streamlabs OBS. I tried a bunch of different things though. I tried Wirecast.
2 days straight he was trying to figure out how to stream this, and I was like, what is the big deal? Just hit go live, and I had no idea he was like fixing it all up how it is, and I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I've used vMix, Wirecast, some other ones,
Mini
Cams.
Cam.
None of them are. I mean, vMix and Wirecast are expensive. They're $700-800 programs, $1,200 programs. I used the demo to figure out which one works, but I like this Streamlabs OBS. It's like the same thing as OBS, but just a little bit more. But it works really good. Let's see. Oh, we got another question. My student says his wife wants this painting. We're going to start an auction.
No. I got this painting at a place. Oh, crap. Where is it called? I want to say it was Z Gallery. It was Z Gallery. Z Gallery is where I got this painting. But it's been a couple years. It's been like 6 years, maybe. It's 6 years old. I thought about painting over it.
What? Why?
Doing neutral colors.
No.
No?
No.
All right, it's pretty cool. I like it, but it's like got 3 dimensions in it too. Like these are all like brick layers, which is cool.
It is cool.
Sorry, I don't know who asked that, but sorry to the husband of that wife because that's an awesome place, but it's a little expensive. So.
Okay, so Ronnie wants to know what we do for fun. You go first.
What we do for fun? Well, I hunt. And I like to wing shoot when I'm hunting, but I hunt everything. Outside of shooting and hunting, I've recently picked up gardening, which I really enjoy. We have a good garden going. What else do we do? Oh, I flip houses, like 6 or 8 probably a year.
She's really strong.
So yeah, I do. I just pick them up and flip them. But no, I do a lot of interior design. And we buy houses in foreclosure and then fix them up, and then I'm a realtor too, so I sell them as well. So yeah. That's kind of like my escape. What I like to do, I like to design and figure out how the house is going to look and flip them, and yeah, that's what I do for fun. What do you do for fun?
Same thing. I like anything outside. I like anybody that loves to hunt. I wish it was all year round, but my 2 favorite things to do are upland and waterfowl hunting. I love to go out with my dogs and
oh yeah, we have 5 dogs, so we pretty much like walk them and hunt them and throw bumpers for them and take them like everywhere with us pretty much every day. So yeah, we hang out with our dogs too.
Yeah, I mean,
and I have chickens.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, we just bought more chickens today.
Yeah, we got our baby chicks came today, so we have a bunch of baby chicks right now too. But pretty much, I just do a bunch of random stuff. I mean, chickens, farmer, gardener, hunter, house flipper.
Yeah, they're making fun of you for saying realtor.
Realtor? That's how you say it.
No, it's
realtor.
not.
It depends where you're from.
But anyways, I love hunting waterfowl and upland hunting. I like to play the guitar. Unfortunately, what we do for work and for our hobby just takes up a lot of time. And almost everything I do revolves around shooting, whether it be actually competing, practicing, traveling to compete or practice, and then teaching.
I mean, that's literally teach.
Yeah, I mean, literally what we do all the time. But I guess I'm lucky enough to say that what I do for fun just happens to also be my job.
Yeah. Yeah, we find ourselves a lot, like especially since we're quarantined right now, we find ourselves a lot going out to shoot for fun. Yeah,
I mean it's just.
You're like, hey, you want to go shoot this target? You want to do some trick shots? You want to go see my new feed task target I got? Let's go shoot it. Like we shoot for fun too, as corny as that sounds.
So Trevor Shanahan is in the chat right now. And 2 things. So Trevor, I have to tell you, I was gonna wear your hat today, but it doesn't fit me. I put it on and it didn't fit. But anyways, he asked what kind of goose call is on your lanyard. Trevor's call that he made me is awesome. It's Black Timber calls. It is not only does it sound amazing, but it's beautiful.
Yeah, it is pretty cool.
It's I mean, it's my favorite call.
We want to have Trevor. We want to have you down whenever the lodge is done and like incorporate you in the lodge.
I want him on the podcast too.
Yeah, and we have. I'm gonna give this secret away, but I have a duck hunting flooded timber spot that's like 200 yards from my house that we hunt all the time. So it'd be cool to have him down and like
do a clinic.
Do some sort of clinic and then cook the ducks or whatever. That'd be cool.
So he asks, I have a long pre-shot routine, not David long, but still long. How do you get over the feeling of people judging you for such a long routine and missing several targets on the station? You just have to. Someone kind of asked the same question before, but basically the answer to that is analyze. Is what you're doing. Are you doing it because it's something you feel like you should be doing, or are you doing it because it works? If you find out that if you take away the stuff that you feel you're going through the motions on, rather than having it actually be implemented into what you're trying to convert to the subconscious, you might find that it's not long anymore. Because I would say
you might need to take some steps out of your pre-shot routine if they're. Like for me, when I was first creating a pre-shot routine, it was like 8 steps long. So it took me a while to get through it. And I ran into the same problem. But as I progressed in the sport, I was still doing those 8 steps, but I no longer needed to remind myself like to set my feet in a certain way. They naturally went there. So like David's saying, analyze it if you can. And if there's something you can take out that will make it shorter, then do that. If not, then, don't worry about what they think. And I would say that if you're at the point where you are starting to consciously be distracted by the fact that you think that it's taking too long, then it's not an effective pre-shot routine, because an effective pre-shot routine would allow you to be totally present in the moment, to where you literally are void of conscious thought about how long is this taking. Mm-hmm. So there's something in your pre-shot routine where you're losing presence. And you're losing the control of like the front part of your conscious thought process. So go in and analyze that and figure out what it is, take it out, and or modify it and see how it works. Or like I said earlier, if all of your stuff in your pre-shot routine is essential to you, then honestly, don't care how long it takes. I know that's a lot easier said than done, but go there with the purpose to work on your pre-shot routine, knowing that you're going to have those thoughts that people are going to think you're taking too long, and just don't let that surprise you. Like, even if somebody makes a comment like, dude, your pre-shot routine is way too long, it's affecting me, like, be prepared for people to have that mindset if you think your pre-shot's too long, so it doesn't surprise you, and it's easier for you to just not worry about it.
Yeah. Let's see. We're getting through the comments pretty good. Oh, here's one we didn't get to. Does barrel length really make that much of a difference, 30 or 32 inch? I want to hear about that in your game. I see a
huge benefit to shooting 32s versus 30.
Explain to everybody what you've done.
In my game.
Yeah.
So I used to shoot 30-inch barrels. And then 2 years ago, I wanted to try 32s, and I tried them, and I loved them. I felt like they pointed really well, and so I switched to them. And I switched about, 3 weeks before a competition, so I wasn't too familiar with them. And I think the benefit of them is, yes, they're slightly heavier. However, I think the pointing ability of them overrides them being a little bit heavier for me, because I honestly just like how they swing. They're fluid. There's no muzzle jump with them. I love how they point. Like, I feel like I'm more in control with that with that gun than I do a 30-inch barrel. But if you were to ask me for sporting clays, I would still shoot a 32-inch barrel, but I would shoot the parkours. I shoot a Krieghoff. If y'all are just joining in, I shoot a Krieghoff and I shoot sporting barrels. So they're separated. But if I was to switch over to sporting, I would shoot 32 parkours, because they're a little bit lighter and easier to low mount and get up for me.
Oh, that was going to be my question, because I would think that in your game you would want if you're wanting to go for lighter barrels, I would think that it'd be more important to do it in bunker than sporting.
I honestly, I mean, I don't see too much of a difference in trying to get them moving versus my 30-inch barrels. I mean, I'm not like
from
like when you start your move, getting them going.
Yeah.
Everybody seems to think that that's like a huge downfall with 32-inch barrels, but I mean, I'm not like a young girl, and I'm not like a slender girl. Like I work out, so for me, I don't see that huge.
You got some guns.
I got some guns with my guns to hold my gun.
And here's another reason why I think if you feel like 32s move slower than 30s from the start, you're not moving with the right part of your body.
Yeah.
You know, like when you start your move, you're not pushing your hand.
Right. In a perfect move in bunker, everything would be fluid. Your lower body would move your whole body and your gun. Basically, your hands are just here to hold the gun in the right position. So your body would move in one fluid motion. If you're noticing that you feel like there's a push to get them started, you've probably got way too much hands in your move, and that's a mechanical issue.
Yeah,
but,
in both games.
Yeah. But for me personally, I think 32s point way better. I think they shoot way better. I think the recoil on them is balanced way better. I mean, I'm a big fan of 32s.
Well, I would 100% agree with you. I mean, I shoot 34 in sporting. Yeah. If I shot bunker, I think I'd switch to a 32.
32s, yeah.
34 in bunker is too long.
Yeah.
Let's see. So Justin Myers wants to know, how are you throwing a target upside down?
Don't ask me. I have no idea.
So there's a lot of stuff you can do with a machine, but one of my favorite targets to throw, because it's in sporting, it's a very unassuming looking target, but people miss it all day long, is if you can take an all black target, even better an all black 90 millimeter target, and throw it as an incoming bird looking like a incoming teal or crow, but have the target upside down. And the reason why is because most people don't.
When you say upside down, normally it comes belly first.
Yeah, so
and you're talking it coming like upside down like this, or just face first.
So as it comes, so imagine the camera where all you guys are right now is where you're shooting, and this is the target. A normal target, as thrown in as an incoming crow, would be, cupped like this. This is the belly, and it comes up, and then comes in, and you'd shoot it. Okay, the way that I throw the bird upside down is, instead of being this way, the target's literally upside down, and it comes in towards you so that the dome of the target is facing you. And the reason why it's complex is because if you don't put the effort into your research and planning phase of making the decision on how to shoot it to the point of where you're looking at it hard enough to see that it's upside down, and this is why I said I like to throw it as a black target, because it looks like the belly. Then you'll think that it's a bird just incoming as a cupped up incoming crow, and you'll think it's going to stall out, and you can shoot it as it gets to the apex. But as an upside down target, it's not holding air and going to stall out. It's going to drop really fast.
Yeah. So then when you're going through your post shot routine, you're like, I can't figure out why I can't hit this target.
Right when you get to you're going to be following the bird up, you get to the top to go to pull the trigger, and it's just going to drop right underneath you.
And it does. It drops fast.
It's a cool target, and so the way that you throw it. The way that I have this one set is I have a 90 millimeter Permatic Chandelle machine, and it's the Ranger Chandelle machine. And you set it to where you lean the carousel to the right, or depending on you lean it towards the side of the arm as much as you can, and you gotta tighten up some different parts of it to hold the target up against the plate, so that when it comes out, it doesn't fall off the plate and then get crushed as the arm throws it. But you just need like a 10 millimeter wrench and push the spring-loaded thing in there so that the target's up against the plate, and they'll throw out perfectly. And it comes out like this and then flips upside down in the air. So by the time it gets to you, it's totally upside down, and it's a really cool target. It's really good as a crossing target too. But
yeah, it's a cool target.
It's fun. Let's see, what else do we got? The Quickening says, 30 plus seconds and I'm throwing my spinach and bananas at you.
And you're thanking me for your spinach and bananas.
Yeah. Greg says, when this thing blows over, I need to come down there for a week or so and knock the dust off. Haven't shot since Kerrville.
Cool. Yeah. Come on down.
Yeah.
We can, if you come down once the lodge is built, we also have, we forgot to even mention this. Not only do we have the duck hunting here, but we have a quail and pheasant plantation that's not too far. Not a plantation. It's like a preserve, I guess.
Yeah.
What do you call them? They're pen-raised quail and pheasant. It's not a plantation. But, and we partner a lot with the guy that's there. So David and I can give you some shooting lessons, and then we can go apply them in real life if you're wanting bird wing shooting lessons.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Whatever. You just want to go shoot some quail
Just right
and
down the
pheasant.
road.
Yeah, it's like 20 minutes away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
10 for how fast she drives.
Well, I have a Tesla.
Okay, so this is one I should answer. Am I planning on postponing my lessons for Rochester next week? I'm 90% sure that I'm going to have to postpone them just because of, the traveling logistics of getting there and everything, and how many people are able to get there or not. I haven't sent an email out yet because I'm still doing the research on how possible it is to do, but it's looking like it's going to be that way. But I'm thinking that pretty shortly that I'll be able to start getting back on the road again and making, with the COVID-19 stuff, I've had to cancel or postpone a month and a half or 2 months worth of lessons in Florida and Houston and New York and Chicago. So, thank you guys, all my students that are working with me on that. I know it's frustrating. I know, that it's hard to figure out logistically, but I'm going to make sure that we get it in for everybody.
Yeah, we're trying to figure it out on our end just as much as y'all are too. So
yeah,
I say I help him sometimes on scheduling and all that. It's mainly him, but I try to help figure, logistics out too.
It's hard because, the thing I'm just worried about is that in my traveling to get to where I need to go, I could end up coming in contact with somebody that has a virus. I could get it, and I'm not too worried about my health with it because I'm in good shape and I'm young, and I don't have any of the pre-qualifying things, but I could finish a whole clinic and then get home and even a week later find out that I have it.
Be a carrier of it and spread it to all of y'all that are at the clinic. So it's like...
ethically, I'm just nervous about that. And I care about all you guys, so I don't want to infect anybody. But anyways, well, I'll be sending emails out for that. So Painter wants to know if we're going to have guns to use at the lodge. And he says, and we're old.
And what?
We're talking about the COVID stuff. He goes, and we're old.
Oh, and we're old. That's a good question. I don't know.
Well, they're more than welcome to use any of the hundreds of guns that we have.
Together, just us two have more than enough guns, for anybody that was coming that the lodge could hold.
Yeah.
So, yes, you're welcome to use our guns. But as far as, having... a gift shop or something like that has guns that you can...
guns?
Demo guns.
Here's what I'd like.
We've talked about it. Yeah. We don't know yet. Pretty much we don't know yet.
The easy solution to that is I've developed a relationship with TSK, and we can just have one demo gun and get it to fit anybody.
Just put a different stock on there. Yeah.
So, we'll have something for you to shoot.
Well, if you need a gun to shoot, we have guns to shoot. But as far as having demo guns there, we don't know about that yet.
Yeah. He says he would love to come. He doesn't want to deal with TSA flying a gun. Depending on where you are, it's hard or easy. We fly with guns all the time. It takes maybe 5 minutes extra in the airport.
Yeah, if you're flying in the U.S., it's pretty easy. If you're coming from overseas, then we definitely have a gun for you.
He's from New York.
That's a pain.
Or no, he's from New Hampshire. I forget.
But yeah, so... Well, honestly, whatever you wanted to do, even if you wanted to ship your gun here, we're trying to get the lodge to have an FFL. So if you even wanted to ship your gun here, you could probably do that. That might be an option for you. So.
Okay, so Yorkshire clay pigeon shooting wants to know what the. See you later, Ronnie. wants to know what the snack bar for our eyes that I've mentioned in the past podcasts is. I don't know the name of it. I just know what it looks like. But I get it at Target, and
Snack bar?
yeah, it's like it tastes terrible.
It's not a good
But
snack.
it's like a compressed bar with like kale and spinach and stuff in it, and it's really squishy. If next time I go to
Sounds
Target,
terrible.
it is. It's not very good to taste.
I recommend drinking the Bomar Nutrition Greens and collagen and then eating like a protein bar because that sounds nasty.
But also, Yorkshire, I would imagine that's in England. I don't know if they would have it at a Target there.
I don't know.
Might stock different things. I'll try to find out what it is, and then I'll put it on Instagram or something. It makes sense. What else we got? Then we still got a lot of viewers. That's pretty cool. Thank you guys for hanging in there with us.
Yeah, it's cool.
He says, "Can I substitute the bar with Snickers?"
Yes.
No.
Snickers a day keeps the grumpy away.
Oh gosh. Let's see if we have any other missing questions. So this is cool. I don't know if you guys are paying attention to it, but I have it set up to where if you do subscribe to our pod, so like this is on YouTube right now, and if you subscribe to our YouTube channel, you're gonna get on the top right corner of the video, it'll show your thing. So thank you guys. I mean, we've got a good amount of new subscribers here, so we appreciate it. Yeah. And keep it up. If you think you know somebody that would enjoy watching or listening, send them a link. Let's see. So Garrett Fuchs says a kind bar, pineapple, banana, kale, spinach. I'm almost positive that's what it is. If it's the one that's like squishy, then it might be it.
Kind bar. I like kind bars.
Yeah.
They're pretty good. I've never had the kale, spinach,
Pineapple,
one.
banana.
Yeah. I honestly, I use the Bomar Nutrition protein bars. They're really good.
Oh yeah, those are really good.
They are really good.
Yeah.
My favorite is the coffee bar one. Has like coffee crumbles on it. It's really good. And it's a protein bar and it's pretty filling and it's something to like satisfy you that you won't get hungry or have sugar spikes or sugar drops. So.
Cool. Well, I think we've answered all the questions.
Yeah.
If you guys have any other questions, let us know real quick. We'll answer them. But I would say that I really like doing this. I think we should try to follow up our...
Yeah, we want to try to do... We kind of just wanted to see how this first one would go and see the response from it. But I think it would be cool to maybe do, like if we had a cool episode or maybe even just weekly, like on Fridays, or find a good day to like do lives like this and then go over the stuff that was in our episode, you know? Like if we have a cool guest or something. I don't know. What do y'all think?
Yes, let us know. Send us an email what you think and also suggestions. We've loved it. I mean, we've had so many emails from you guys for suggestions and stuff, and so thank you for all that. And, you know, I think this is great. I think once we get the software working really good and we can bring on videos and do live demonstrations and annotate, that's going to be amazing.
Yeah. I mean, it would be what we want to do with the live videos, like he was saying, is we want to be able to have like one person a week or maybe a couple people a week that we put their, like y'all's personal training videos up in our screen, like that you have questions over if y'all want us to, and just kind of like use it as like cool. a teaching moment or something, because let's be honest, we're all stuck in quarantine and we're bored and we all want to get better at shooting too. So I mean it'd be a cool way to do that together. So if y'all want to do that, that'd be fun.
Yeah, we got two more questions. When are we getting Wendell on? And what we're trying to do is so yeah, a lot of people are saying we want to do phone calls. What we're trying to do is keep the quality of the podcast as good as possible. So Are we allowed to talk about the guest we're gonna?
Not. We can talk about Henry, but I want to keep the one that we're doing tomorrow a surprise.
Okay.
Because I'm like so excited about it, y'all, and y'all are gonna freak out when we announce who it is because it's so cool. I'm so excited about it.
It's really cool. We're very thankful and lucky that we have a lot of amazing people that are willing to get on and share their time with us and with the listeners. So we have some really amazing guests lined up.
Like y'all, when we announce the one that we're interviewing him, I guess it's Sunday. We're interviewing him Sunday.
Yeah, we don't know when it's going to be published.
I don't know when the episode's going to be published yet because there's some things that are coming up that would make. There's some things coming up like in the world that would make this episode really good to publish whenever those things happen. Yeah. So I don't know.
Involving this guy.
Yeah, so I don't know when we're going to publish it, but since he agreed to come on the podcast, I have been like so excited, and y'all are going to freak out when you figure out who it is.
Yeah, it's really cool. And I think it'd be super educational.
Should we drop small hints weekly?
Huh?
Should we just drop small hints? Like
I want to hear
who y'all think it's going to be?
Maybe.
Do you think it's going to be somebody in the shooting world or somebody outside of the shooting world?
Interesting.
Let me know that. Let me know that one.
But anyways, like what we're trying to do is when we have a guest, I want to get the audio to be really good. I hate listening to a podcast where the host,
like a phone call.
Yeah, the hosts have a mic like this, and the guy that they're interviewing, that's really the most important part of the podcast, is on a phone call. It sounds like he's going in an elevator.
Yeah.
So
we have, like, for our guests, we have two interviews coming up this weekend and next week. So we actually shipped out microphones to them so we could get the good quality for them. So
yeah, we're sending we have packages that we send out to our guests so that when you guys listen to the podcast, you'll be able to hear them like they're right here with us, and then it's got a video camera in there too, so you'll be able to see them and do some editing for the video version of it on YouTube. And so to answer your question about Wendell, I don't want to have Wendell on until I can have him in person. So with the COVID-19 thing, I don't want to put anybody at risk right now. So we have guests lined up. We've talked to a lot of people. We have a list of 50 some people that we want to and we'll have on the podcast, but it's going to happen in time. So we just want to make sure you can hear him and it sounds awesome. We care about that. This person says Carol Baskin.
Carol Baskin killed her husband, whacked him.
We're not going to
have that song stuck in y'all's head as much? I mean, that's going to be like one of the songs that's just like a staple now for the rest of the life. Like when it comes on, everybody's going to know it. Do y'all think she did it? Do y'all think Carol Baskin did it? Cool cats and kittens.
Okay, so we have another question just came in. We should answer this. It says, I'm shooting sporting and have some problem with trap target types. What is your advice? I'll let you answer that.
Do you want to tell the story of how I taught you how to shoot a trap target?
Yeah, you tell it.
Okay, so I feel like we pick on Tom a lot. Maybe we don't.
He's easy to pick on.
If y'all know Tom C is a sporting shooter, and him and David are like BFFs, okay? So last summer, we went up to Cross Creek Clays, and I met them up there, and we were shooting, was it Memorial Weekend? I think it was Memorial Weekend. And anyways,
it was for the Night Stalker shoot, whenever that was.
And we shot the shoot, and Tom and David both could not hit trap targets to save their life.
I've never been good at them.
Yeah. So I was like, do y'all want me to show you how to shoot these trap targets? They were like, yeah, whatever, you don't know what you're doing. Like, okay. So we go to this platform, and David sets up. Did you set it up, or was it already set up, the targets?
We set it up.
Yeah.
They were super hard.
David sets up this like kind of a quartering going away, left to right trap target, pretty much. And we were above the target. We were on a platform, and the targets were all coming from below us. And then we had like a big chandelle. And then what else did we have? Like maybe a long crosser or something. I think there was like 3 birds. And we were doing...
The closest bird was 65 yards.
Yeah, and we were just...
going away.
Yeah, and just for fun, we were like having a small competition between the 3 of us. So Tom gets up, misses the trap target, hits the chandelle, misses the trap target, hits the chandelle, maybe barely hits the trap target.
Never hit a trap target.
He didn't hit the trap.
No,
Okay, so
neither
never,
of us did.
Never hits the trap target, and all hits the chandelle.
We both missed all 4 trap targets and 1 chandelle. So we both of us came out there with 3 out of 8.
Okay, so then I get up there and I call pull, and I just am like smoking the trap targets, and I hit. I mean, just
You hit 6 out of 8.
Yeah, just because I don't have too much experience on the chandelle. I mean, I missed a couple of those, but so Tom gets behind me, and he's like, "What are you doing? Why are you sitting up there?" And so I was trying to tell him, no, it was you that came up behind me.
Yeah, it was me.
Yeah, it was you that came up behind me, and he said, "How are you hitting those? I don't see how you're hitting it. I missed all of them. I don't get it." So I told him, I said, "You have to be under the target, and you have to you have to shoot it like a crosser." And he goes, "But it's a trap target." And I said, "I know, but you have to be under it, and you have to make a turn to it and not a spot shot at it." And y'all, he was looking at me. He was trying to be nice, but the look on his face was like, "I'm fixing to shoot 6 of these in a row, just like you said, so I can prove you how dumb you sound."
I'm listening to her talk thinking, this girl has no idea what she's talking about. Like,
so he gets up there and he shoots the first one like I told him how to shoot it, and just ink dots it. And then he turns around and you kind of see a look on his face like, that can't be right. So
I was like,
he's like, "I accidentally did that." So he puts 2 more in, shoots it again, and just smokes it again. And he was like, "Hold on."
I'm telling you.
Went and got another box of shells and shot probably 15 in a row, just smoking them. And he was like, "How the heck did you ever figure that out?" And I was like, "Well, I shoot these targets every day." Tom behind me was like, I mean, the look on y'all's face was priceless.
I wasn't just hitting them. We're talking about a bird that's, the trap is 45, 50 yards away, going straight out full spring. By the time I'm shooting it 65, 70 yards,
Yeah.
edge going away down a hill. And it's obliterate. I'm just like it's vaporizing into smoke. I'm just like, how is this even this isn't possible. Something is happening here. And so I turn around and Tom looks at me and I'm looking at Tom and he goes, "Hold on a minute, I gotta try this."
So long story short, I went and ate supper, and they stayed out there till dark shooting the way I shot the trap targets, and y'all have honestly shot really
Haven't
good.
missed a trap target since.
Yeah. So you're welcome, Tom. But no, okay, what is the question again about the trap target?
How to shoot them.
So if you're talking about a trap target that's just going away, 2 things. One, is it coming? Are you level with the target? Like, is the target starting below you? Is it starting, level with you? Figure out where it's starting from, first of all. Second of all, I'm just going to assume that the target is going straight away and you're behind it. If that's not what you're talking about, let me know. But the target in a trap sense is always going to start below your gun. So you're not going to have the opportunity to be able to make a move with it. I'll just tell you how I'll shoot them. When I call pull and the target comes up, I don't move my gun until the target gets past my barrel. So I kind of answered this earlier, but basically you just want a really short move to it. And depending on how your gun's set up, like if it shoots 60-40 or if it shoots 70-30 or whatever, mine shoots 50-50. So I just literally touch the bottom of the target. I mean, they honestly take 0 lead, hardly ever. Even in bunker, like if you're shooting hard lefts and hard rights, it's basically just as you swing through the target, you pull the trigger. They rarely ever take lead. So just right at it.
The biggest thing that, the biggest takeaway I've had from that is in sporting that on a trap bird, try to really consciously control your physical reaction to the bird.
Yeah, it's easy to be surprised by them.
And it's easy to tense up and to push out or to think that because it's coming out fast, you got to move fast.
Yeah, that's not the case.
Not the case. Like, it's all a matter of being as physically calm as you possibly can be, because all the movement of that bird is going straight away. And so if you make a move, you're going to get offline of it. So you have to be able to have extreme control, extreme lack of tension in your body, and extremely good visual acuity that you're relying on. I mean, it's got to be,
yeah,
timing is...
and it's easy trap targets are they make you feel panicked really easy because it feels like the target's getting away, but it's no different than any other target. I mean, it's probably not even going as fast as some of the other targets that you shoot. So take your time on letting that target get up and kind of get on its path, and then start your move to it and make just a controlled move to it.
Yeah.
But it's hard. I mean, it's hard to like see what you're doing without watching you shoot. So that's just the best advice I can give.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I'd say that about wraps it up. We've had pretty much everybody stay with us from start to finish.
Yeah, y'all are cool. We like hanging out with y'all.
Yeah, it's cool.
How long, let me ask you this. How long do y'all think it's going to take for David to start saying y'all on the podcast?
Ain't happening. It's foreign.
You're going to drop it eventually.
It's so foreign for me
You're
to say
going to say
y'all
at one point in time.
What are y'all? I don't have the emphasis of
it's such a quicker way to say you all, like y'all.
Y'all.
Yeah.
What are y'all doing?
What are y'all
you
doing?
all. I'm not so sure.
It'll happen.
Brian says 1 more week. Painter says never happened. Oh gosh. Yeah, we really do. I mean, yeah. They're talking about having your dad on.
Oh yeah. So he claims to be the world's best birdshot, my dad, and I guess we'll just have to have him on to find out if he is or not.
I really want to I would like to have him on when we talk about the Olympic stuff with you.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
About the time Duke says he'll start saying it about the time he put some maple syrup on his potatoes.
He tried it last
It's
Sunday.
good.
It's good. I'm telling you, if y'all think that is the weirdest thing I eat, no. I eat some weird combinations of stuff.
Oh gosh. Cool.
So yeah. So thanks y'all for being here with us today. This is really cool.
Yeah, way better than expected, and we appreciate the interaction and the engagement and everything. But that's cool. So we'll wrap it up there, and
just before we close, I know some of y'all have questions on your technique and about video analysis and stuff. Feel free to email us those videos because we'll take a look at them, and then you may even see them on our next live YouTube. And with your permission, obviously, we want to use them to try to teach people that are watching too and answer your questions about that.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah. So again, really excited about our guest Sunday. So I feel like I should give him a hint.
Well, we're interviewing on Sunday.
Yeah,
He's
interviewing him on Sunday.
Yeah.
We don't know when we're going to release it yet, but I want to know who y'all think that it is because I'm super excited about it.
They'll never guess. They're never going to guess.
Probably not.
No. But it'll be cool. So, thanks, guys. We will close it out with another view of our intro video, I think. Does that sound good to you? Yeah?
I guess, yeah. See
All
y'all
right.
next time.
See you guys. Thank you.